Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It is the last Sunday before self-imposed turkey comas, I hope. We had ours yesterday, which was delicious and wonderful. My husband's such a good cook. So today is chill day, relax, do some rocks. Let me know when you're here. Feel free to chime in the chat and say hello. Let us know where you're visiting us from. And so today I decided that I was going to do a couple of mandala rocks on not perfect stones. So these are rocks. This one's pretty bumpy. You can kind of see all those divots, which I'm hoping will end up working out okay for us because it's dotting tools. That's okay. And this one's a little bumpy. I base coated the other one with black. This one I base coated with white and the hologram glitter, the extreme hologram glitter, to give it a little sparkle, because we like sparkle. And then I just thought I would do some Christmas colors. So my mom was talking to me, and this is a pain point, getting mandalas where she felt comfortable. So I'm just going to play around with some Christmas colors and have something on here. Let's see. Hello, Roy. Welcome back. We missed you last week. Good to have you back. And hello, Lindsay. Oh, how cool. So we've got like an international crew going right now. That's awesome. So welcome to you both. So yeah, I'm just going to play around, I think, and make some Christmas color-ish themed mandalas with some white, red, and green. I picked this green because it's kind of bright, and I wanted it to show up, especially on that black rock. So I'm just going to load up my little paint palette here. Yes, gobble, gobble, gobble. It's coming. It is coming. We had a delicious dinner last night and had a small little family gathering, and it was great. I feel like I'm like ahead of the game a little bit on that. So I guess that's good. That's okay. You don't have to follow the rules. There are no rules, right? I'm just going to put some red and white and green. Oh yeah, that's spilling hopefully into the paint palette so that I've got these easy to work with. Usually when I'm painting rocks, I will paint out of the lids. I take the lids off and just use the paint that's in the top of the lid, but that's a little harder to do with the mandalas because you kind of need a good dipping space to get good dips in there. So I'm not going to do anything fancy, just kind of show you the basics. So this will be sort of similar like the Halloween mandala video, kind of showing you the basics. So let's go ahead and do this black rock first. I'm trying to figure out where I want things that they will be. I am using this dotting tool set because they are very dirty. I need to clean them. I don't know where this yellow paint came from, but they have, let's see if we can focus here. Come on. You can see how they have numbers on them. Oh, it tried to focus. There. So you can see how there's number 1 and number 2 on here. And so that helps if you're new to mandalas, it helps give you a sizing guide. I often will pick an odd or an even and then skip up from there as I'm moving up in dot size, but there's 16 total dot sizes in this set. And I believe it's made out of recycled plastic too, which is kind of cool. So usually how I will start is by making a larger dot in the center. This is kind of a small rock though, so I'm going to use 13 and white. And sometimes I will flip it upside down and kind of tap it like this to let the paint settle so that you don't get uneven kind of spread, I guess. And I'm eyeballing the middle of this rock. We'll see how good I did with that. Okay, so there's the main white dot. Let me grab a paper towel so I can wipe this guy off. I'm not sure if that's in the middle. It's hard when they're not shaped round, like to see. So I am going to start with the number 2 And this is kind of the key part to getting started is I treat it like a compass. So like northwest, east, and south. So I do the top, you do a dot at the top and at the bottom. So you want it like evenly spaced, and then each side. And this is to help get us our bearings to get started. And then what I will do is do a dot evenly in between these two. Because this is smaller, if this was a larger rock, I would probably be able to come back and add dots in between each of these dots. But I feel like that on this particular one will be a little bit too tight of a squeeze. So I'm going to leave it at that with the spread there. So I used a number 2 on that one. So I'm going to go up evenly. You can go up 2, 3, 4, 5. You can go just up by ones, and it will be a very gradual increase in size, but sometimes you want a little bit more of a distinction, I guess you would say. So now I'm going to slide into the red. And the key here is that I am now going to, let me see if I can point with another one. I'm going to put the dots in between each of these other 2 dots. So that's how the next row is going to line up in between each of those dots. So you can see how it I guess almost makes like a triangle, kind of a triangular point. And so each dot will be evenly spaced, and then that creates more space. And the next row is going to be, I should have brought my little turntables over here. They're so handy. The next row will be bigger dots, but now we have more space in between the red dots to fit those. So it kind of just blooms out from there. Like so. Hi, Tanya. How are you? That's kind of what it looks like. This rock is very divoted. I probably should have done some of my smoothing with the spackle, but I didn't. So I think it's still going to work. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that you're sick and that you've got a rough cold. Of course you're forgiven. These are, hey, this is not school. This is not a requirement. This is all for fun, and we enjoy having you whenever we can. And hopefully, maybe, you know, if you're down, you can watch the replays and it'll give you something to do when you're sick if you're not sleeping. I'm sorry to hear that. So now I'm going up to 6. So I started at the white was 2, red was a size 4, green is going to be a size 6. So this is bigger, and it will fit evenly between the 2 of these. Like this. And I have these adorable little lazy Susans that I forgot to bring over here. They're like little turntables, and they're really handy for mandalas. I use them for lots of things, but for mandalas, they're really good. But I forgot. That's okay. So I can see where the bumps can cause a little bit of a rough looking dot. You can see this one right here is a little bit, I guess it doesn't look as bad being at it on the camera, but it's a little bit rough around the edges. So I'll try and even that out if I can. So I like mandalas. I find dots very relaxing, and I like how they just kind of bloom out. I kind of stick to pretty basic patterns. Some people, I'm sure you've seen online, can go absolutely bananas and are amazing with what they do with these. And I'm pretty basic, but the nice thing is that even the basic ones are really pretty, and you can jazz them up with glitter paint or additional dots or all kinds of stuff. So let's come back to the white, and now I'm on size number 8 because we're using even numbers. I'm just going to space these in between the green, and it fits just right. And so if you can manage to space them evenly in between the previous row, the circle kind of the shape works for itself. I know my mom was asking me before this about, drawing a circle with a compass, which you could do. But if you get that initial setup with the middle and then just work your way out, it should be fairly circular. And even if it's not, it's really not that noticeable. Like these little errors with these are not, going to jump out and scream. And like I always tell you guys, do you really think a little kid is going to be like, oh, that dot's rough around the edges, I don't want this rock? No, they're not going to do that. They're going to pick it up and be so excited about it. So keep that in mind too. Don't beat yourself up if you make a mistake. So now I'm on size number 10. I'm going to come around and same thing, just kind of evenly spaced in between the white dots. And you can do all kinds of fun things with the backgrounds before you start dotting. Like you could do blended backgrounds, you could do glitter, you could do, these are really pretty on naked rocks. I call them naked rocks when you don't base coat them with anything and you just want the natural stone to show through. They're really pretty. And you can even make these in different shapes. Like if there was an oval, I think you could make that work as well. I just find it very relaxing. I think it's the repetition of it. Whoops, dropped my paper towel. Ugh. There you go. A lot of fun. So I guess I'm a bit of a jack of all trades because I know there are some YouTube channels and people that just do mandalas, and they're the people that can just go to town on really fancy designs. But I like doing a little bit of everything. So that's what you see. Tiny's still trying to find rocks. You live by beaches with sand, not rocks. Oh, yeah. And I remember you're in New Zealand, so I don't know what you're capable of ordering online because I've ordered rocks from our hardware stores like Home Depot and Lowe's. I've ordered rocks from them, and that has been really useful, especially in getting smooth ones. You can order river rock or beach rock. Yeah, natural stones are fun. That's kind of been lately, I really enjoy doing designs where it's just the design on the natural stone. Especially with resin, because the resin seems to bring out kind of like these natural cool things about the rocks when you put it on. Like if they happen to have some stripes or some coloration in them that's unique and you're not covering it up with paint, it still can show through, which is kind of cool. I'm being kind of thick with this paint because of all the little divots. A little bit more than I normally would be, but that's okay. I think I may not have centered myself in the rock because you can see I'm almost to the edge over here, but not so much over here. Or it could just be the shape of the rock. It's hard to say. Tanya, another thing you could look into, and I'll see if I can send you maybe I can look up the video and put it in the chat for you, is you can actually make your own stones with silicone molds out of gypsum cement, which is pretty cool because they're very smooth and you can do shapes. So there's round ones and oval ones, and there's a heart-shaped one. There's all kinds of molds you can get. And so I've got a little bit, you can see how these have gotten a little bunched up, like a little extra paint on the dotting tool. So I'm just going to take a nail dotting tool and just kind of swirl that paint so that it's nice and even. Because sometimes if this paint, it's cheap paint, it's not super expensive, but sometimes if it's too thick, it'll crack when it dries, and that's not pretty. So just gonna swirl this around a little bit so that it's all nice and even. Like so. Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, bummer. So you got broken ones. You know, that happened to us the last order we got too. My mom and I split an order of kind of, I think they were medium or larger Mexican beach pebbles, and we had a lot of broken ones too, which was disappointing because I've had good luck with those. I don't know if the smaller ones are better luck, but yeah, if you can find a landscaping company that will let you go in and pick them, that's the golden ticket. I have yet to try that around here where I live. But I know in Las Vegas, there are some nurseries that let the rock painters go in and hand pick their river stones, and they get to pick large ones, small ones, but you know, if there's a shape that stands out to you that you like. So yeah, if you can find a nursery that will do that for you, do that. That is the way to go. I'm going to set this guy to the side and bring in the white one now because I want to let those dots dry a little bit more before we do anything else to them. And I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. And then I think with this one, I'm just going to do the red and green because it's already white. And if I do white, even though there's the glitter, it's not going to show up wonderfully on there. So we will go with, let's see, my sizes are getting all mixed up. Let's see. I think I did a 14 in the middle on the last one, or 13. Let's do that again. We'll start with red. Let's see. Try and get it centered. May not work, but we'll try. Hi, Tabitha. Oh no, you caught your daughter's cold. Isn't that the way it always goes? Ugh. I hope you feel better before Turkey Day so you can have some fun with your family. And thank you so much for the compliment. I'm so glad you're always here. I feel like something's off when you're not there to comment because you're so good about it. I hope you feel better. I'm so sorry that you caught your daughter's crud. That's always the way it goes, man. Our immune systems aren't as strong as the little young whippersnippers, right? Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with number 2 and red, and I'm going to do the top, the bottom, and both sides to get started. And don't overthink it. Just enjoy it. Have fun with these. I also like doing a lot of the random dot stuff that is not a specific pattern because to me that feels less stressful. But you do you do what's good for you and just practice. That's the other part of this, is it's not going to be top notch right off the bat, right? Necessarily. Maybe you're one of those one and done type people, but sometimes it takes practice. It took me a while to get the hang of these things. So that was number 2. And now we're going to move on to number 4. And the dog just fell over. And I'm just going to alternate back and forth with green and red on this one. My mom was asking me about how you do less or more colors, because I think she was looking at an older video that had like 5 or 7 colors that just bloomed out. But you can always do less and you just alternate back and forth. Or another thing that I like to do is you could make the background like a blended rainbow of colors and then do white dots, all white dots, and then add some color to the dots after. I did an Easter one like that last year and it really came out cute. So there's lots of possibilities with what you can do with these, but for simplicity's sake, we're just going to go back and forth with green and red on this one. Now I'm moving up to number 6. Oh, you're going to have so much fun, Tanya. So much fun. It's addicting. Oh, I'm so glad you still watch the replays. I have that problem a lot too with some of the people I like to watch where I just can't quite manage it at the time that they're actually live. But I will almost always watch the replays if it's someone I really like. So thank you for doing that. I'm glad it's fun, but it is fun to be here live and be able to interact too. This is not something that I had anticipated doing, this whole live streaming thing, and then it's actually a whole lot of fun. It was not, I don't know if I was going to say it's not in the cards for me. It wasn't in the cards for me in the beginning, but I don't know if I even knew what the cards were in the beginning. I just kind of started, and the journey is leading the way, I guess. And if it ever stops being fun, I will stop. Let's see here. Number 6, and now we're moving up to number 8. Okay, so we're going on to number 8 with the green. Moving on. The colors stand out a little bit better on this white. I wasn't sure which background was going to be the winner, but I think I like the white better right now. And I do like putting that hologram glitter under things, because then when the resin gets on it, it's really going to pop and shine and sparkle, which is fun. And this one's going to be weird because this rock is funny shaped, so I think we'll reach the edges probably quicker than, I don't know if there was a right way to center on this rock. Like maybe I should have centered a little bit further down, but it looks centered from your guys' view, but the way it's sitting, it doesn't look centered to me. See, we pick ourselves apart. What's the point of that? So back to the red, I'm on number 10 this time. And if you don't have dotting tools, you can use, find some various things in your house that you could use that are round. So Q-tips work. You just have to watch the cotton. Q-tips work, pencil erasers work. If you have any of those sewing, like the pins that you use to, like if you're a seamstress and you are pinning material together and they have those little balls on the top, you can stick those into the top of a pencil eraser and that makes a smaller dot. You could use a pencil tip. That would make a really small, teeny tiny dot. So there are, you could get creative if you don't have dotting tools. I think this set with the numbers is around $20, if I remember right. Or you could also go simpler. Let me show you these nail dotting tools. These nail dotting tools are kind of, this is what I started with in the very beginning, and they're also dual sized. And I think this is like $6 or $7 for the 4 of them. So a little more simple. I use these a lot to put glitter paint on things, which is, I feel like I'm an oddball for doing that, but I just like how they put glitter paint on. Hi, Tammy. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So true. We are our own worst critics, for sure. Oh, I have another person who has mandala pain points. So the reason why I decided to do them today is because my mom was talking. We were talking this morning about how she was struggling getting them straight, and she felt like they were too squished. And I think what we figured out is that her starting point here, she had too many dots around that main center dot. So then when it went time to line one up in between them, it was too tight for her. So I think that might be an area that she might be able to, fix it and be able to get a little more comfortable with it. So let's see, we're on green now. Green, green, green. So I was like, well, let's do a mandala in the live today, because if she's having that pain point, I bet other people are too. And you know what? These may not be your thing. They don't have to be. I like all kinds of things, but all things rocks. So, you'll find your groove with certain things that you really like doing. And that's what you should stick to, because this is supposed to be fun, and you shouldn't torture yourself if it's not fun. Don't do it. Just do the stuff you like. And they don't have to be super fancy, like I was saying earlier. Oh, thanks, Tammy. You know, these are really basic. If you were to put me up against a fancy mandala person, these are very, very, very basic. Super basic designs. But they still work. I think I might have jumped up 2 sizes on that one. Whoops. Let's see if we can get one final circle around here with the red. The other one's still not quite dry. I forget that when I'm normally painting over in my normal area, I have little desk fans. Ooh, I used too much there. I have little desk fans that I use to kind of dry things. Like I'll work on one, kind of like how we're doing here. I'd work on one and the fan would be on the black one while we're working on this one. I didn't bring any little brushes over here to correct. So you can see I put too much paint on that one and then I cleaned it up a little bit, but then it had already dripped. So getting creative, I am wetting the Q-tip with my mouth. So this is a way that you could also swipe an entire dot off. If for some reason the dot was really screwy, you just wet a Q-tip and you take it and roll it across like that and you can get the dots off. So all mistakes are fixable for sure. Oh, you want to see the ink on my wrist? It's I think it's going to be upside down when I put it in here, but let's see. It's just like a little colorful orchid flower. It looks like I need lotion on. So the funny story behind this is I have also a tattoo on my shoulder that I got before we got married. And so the person I went to is incredibly talented. And when the pandemic happened, you know, everything shut down. And so obviously the tattoo shop where he worked was shut down and they weren't working. And so I work a government job. And so I was just at home and still working. So I still had my job and my pay. And so one of the things he did that I thought was super creative is he sold raffle tickets. You bought raffle tickets for a chance at 3 prizes. And I think one of them, I forget the size. I won the 5x5 one. And then one of them was like an all day, you get tattooed until you tap out, which I don't think I would have had a project for him for something like that. I don't need anything that huge or intricate, but so I won the 5x5 one, and this one is clearly not 5x5, but I just wanted something small. And his art just amazes me because I think it's a whole nother level. I mean, people that can draw, because I can't do realism, I can do cartoons and stick people. But you know, to be able to draw on paper is one thing, but to be able to draw with a motorized gun on someone's skin is just amazing to me. He's very talented. So yeah, that was the story behind that. I won a prize during the pandemic. I won a tattoo. So yes, the fan does help a lot. And man, did I drip these poor little red dots. I put too much paint on I'm losing them on the sides here. Thanks, Lindsay. I call it my midlife crisis tattoo because I also turned 40 in the middle of the pandemic. And so it's all just fun and jokes. If we can't laugh at surviving this thing, what do we have left? Right? It's just been such a crazy, I guess we're going on 2 years here if you think about it. It's crazy. It's just absolutely nuts to me that that's how long it's been. But, you know, hopefully we're going to rise out of this and be okay. And kindness, I hope kindness stays at the center of it. For sure. Oh, thanks, Tammy. Yeah, I don't know where I picked this up, but I always remember somebody saying when I was young or like 18 that you shouldn't get a tattoo unless it means something. Like you shouldn't get a tattoo just to get a tattoo. So all of mine have meaning, I think. But and I was really happy to be able to support him, you know, during a time when he couldn't make income like he normally does. So this is still a little bit wet. I'm trying to figure out how I want to beef it up. I think what I'm going to do is keep it really simple for purposes of simplicity, since this was supposed to be about pain points and mandalas that cause you a little bit of stress. So what I'm going to do is add smaller dots in between. So not on top of the dots, but in between. So since the first colors started with number 2, these white ones right here, they were a number 2, and our last color was green, I'm going to take green paint and the number 1 and make some dots in between the white dots. And this is just going to add some more fun to our design, some dimension, and it's going to give it that feel that it's blooming out, because the colors are going to kind of bloom out with it. So there's the first round. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tammy. That's hard. That's so hard. I know we had somebody else. Love art, and tattoos are definitely art. Like, to be able to do that on someone's body is just never fails to amaze me, what they can do, and so realistic. Wait till the zombie apocalypse begins. No, you just shush. No zombie apocalypse. Okay, so now we've got, you can see, I'll put it up here so you can see a little better. So we've got tiny green dots. Those are number 1. And so this is where I can overthink it, or I can just eyeball it sometimes with these. So that means white was 2, red was 4. So we could use 3. I'm actually going to use 2 to keep them tiny. And we're going to bloom the colors out. So we're going to take white and put white in between the red. Just tiny little dots. And so what it does end up doing is you're going to see, ooh, my eyes almost crossed there for a second. Let me do these and then I'll explain it, because I'll probably mess up. When you put them squarely in between the reds, you'll notice that the white from the previous circle kind of lines up with it. So see how it almost looks like a snowflake or a sunshine or a star, because there was this white and now there's a smaller white. So it kind of blooms out, I guess, like a starburst kind of. So I'm going to eyeball these more than I'm going to stick to the exact numbers, but you could, do the math and stick to the numbers if you wanted to. Now I'm going to use number 3 with red and put it in between the green. Oops, that's a nice little hole there. Let's see. This one's cut, it's like right in one of those little divotty weird things. Okay. And then there. Oh my gosh, these colors are making me dizzy for some reason today. I don't know what's going on. Like, looking at it and I'm losing my spot. Either that or it's nerves with you guys. So you can kind of see how it's now blooming out and it's filling in more of the blank space. That's so funny you say that, because it's exactly what I was just doing. And maybe that's where, so what I would recommend if you're starting out is to use, like, pick the colors of the rainbow. So I think that might be part of why I'm getting lost, because there's just 3 colors on this one, and on this one there's just going to be 2. And so you start looking at, oh, there's red up there and there's green over there. But if you did a rainbow, like say it was red, orange, yellow, green, blue, pink, or purple or something, then your circles, your rows of color are a little bit more clear. So it's a little less likely that you'll get lost. Roy never knows where he's at. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, no need for nerves, right? I think I'm getting used to it. It still feels like I'm talking to myself sometimes, because there's no people in front of me, but it definitely helps when you guys are chatting. That makes that that feeling go away for sure. Okay, so now we're going to bloom green. I think that's exactly what it is. It's confusing me is because there's less colors and I wasn't sure where I was between the white. And it all starts getting close together when you do this. And then I definitely got a little confused there for a sec. Tammy, you talk to yourself. Hey, at least you don't talk back, right? Or maybe you do, but hopefully in a nice way. Let's see, that's 3 and 4, so 5. So now we're gonna pull some white out. It's just turned into like a little bit of a blooming flower, or you could see how you could easily make like a snowflake with the dotting tools. That would be super fun. You could do all one color or have a couple of colors. Okay, I got all of them there. What did Terry say? You lack the patience for them. Oh no! Smash the tool. Oh my goodness. That's funny. Bigger dotting tools might help, right? Because you can bloom them out more. And some of the more, the people that do just mandalas, they get into the bigger dots, even like in this center thing, and then do crazy designs around it. And there's lots that you can do for sure. That's so funny. I guess I could see that. I find them relaxing, but I could see how patience could be also a thing where if you just like to see something come together. That might be why I like doing when I do these in videos, I like doing like the hyperlapse where it speeds it up and it just kind of appears very quickly, much quicker than it takes to do them. I enjoy that. I think it's fun to watch it in a hyperlapsed video. Okay, so instead of putting center dots here, I think what I'm going to do is some little, and this is where these numbers can come in handy. I'm going to do, I don't even know what you call them. So you guys can help me name them once you see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take the number 6 tool first, and I'm going to put a dot on, I guess, at the end or evenly spaced so it follows that line around the green. Hopefully I can fit it in all the spots. Let's see. It's kind of looking more like a snowflake to me than anything. Like that. I really should have brought my turntable over here. It would have made life easier. Don't want to be rude, but I might go grab it because I think it might be something that, if you guys might, I get asked a lot about it in the videos. I haven't been using it a lot in the recent videos. But let me run and grab it because it will be handy for this. I will be right back. 2 seconds. Maybe 10 seconds. Okay, let's see. Let's show you this thing. Okay, so what this, oops, just stuck my finger in the paint. Good job. So what this is it's a little acrylic turntable. So it's like a little lazy Susan that you would put in the middle of the dinner table, I guess. And then I just take some of that shelf liner stuff you can buy to line your kitchen shelves with. And I put that on there so that it doesn't slide. and then I put the rock on. So as you're doing the design, you just spin it around. It's great. I'm sorry, Tammy, I was trying to be Christmassy. I got us all confused. Maybe I should have told everybody bring a cup of coffee with you so we can focus. Okay, so I used number 6. Now I'm going to jump down to a 3. So I'm going to do 3, and what I'm going to do is kind of walk these dots around the green dot so it gives kind of a point and wraps them around. I don't know what I want to call this. What size is the turntable? I believe it is 4 inches. I will, after the live stream's over, I will link to them in the description on Amazon. Because when I don't know why I haven't been using them in the videos lately, but I get asked about these a lot when people watch the videos. Oh, see, Tammy bought one. And they're not super expensive. I want to say they were $10 for 2. And I think I've got 4 of them now because I get rocks going. And instead of taking the rock off to put it in front of the fan, I just take the whole thing. I pick it up and I take it and put it under the fan like this. And so that's why I got more of them, so I can have multiple rocks. Like when I'm going, I'll have 2 or 3 rocks at a time that I'm working on potentially. And they're handy for base coating too. Like if you're base coating with a color like the black, you can spin it around and get the paint on there pretty good, pretty quickly. Let's see. Some of my dots got off from the center line, but that's okay. Okay, so that was number 3. So now I'm going to jump down to 2, and we're just going to size down until it wraps all the way around the little, the big dot, the green dot. I think my mom was saying that this is another thing that drives her nuts because she can't ever get them quite even. This one's so crooked. See? Look at this one. Like this big dot should be lined up with that dot, like a line, and it's not. So it happens. I'm not going to stress. Not like this is going to the state fair or anything like that. So making somebody smile. That's all we need to do. I wonder if people do turn these into this like county fairs and state fairs, if there's like a category that they would fit within for an art piece. Some people just make amazing creations. I saw a rock in some group that I follow on Facebook the other day that somebody did a Johnny Depp, like a portrait of Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, and it was so amazing, so much detail. It was just crazy. Okay, so that was number 2. Now we're going to go down to number 1, and what I'm going to do is dip it, and I'm going to put 2 dots, but what's going to happen is the second dot, usually because there's less paint left on the dotting tool, the second dot will be smaller or about the same size. Either way works, but these are just the most delicate of the bunch as it's kind of wrapping around that larger green dot. I'm going to do 3 on this one because there's room for it. And who's going to count? Who is going to pick this rock up and count how many white dots there are around each green dot? Nobody. Nobody's going to do that. So that's one of the reasons you shouldn't stress too much about what you are doing, because people are just happy to find them. Unless I guess you're selling them. You could be selling them and you might want to be a little more perfect about them. I don't know. I saw a post in an admin group a while back and I think it got taken down, so maybe it caused some ruckus, but I thought it was really interesting because it was saying, that kindness rocks are not about competing art, which I wholeheartedly believe. It's about doing something nice, a random act of kindness, right? But then it said they should never be bought or sold. And I was like, huh. Like, I don't sell my rocks. I purposely choose not to because I feel like I wouldn't be able to keep up with something like that or the pressure of it. And I like that this is what I do when I have time to do it. And I don't want to sell them. It doesn't interest me, and I don't need to make money off of it or anything like that. So I just choose not to, but I don't think that means, if somebody else wants to purchase a rock from someone who's talented shouldn't, or, if somebody can sell them, but they shouldn't. So I thought it was really interesting how hard-nosed the post was. And I think I get where it's coming from. I understand it because I like hiding them for kindness reasons, but I don't think that the fact that someone else sells rocks negates the fact that I can be kind by leaving them out for free, right? Like, it doesn't change that fact. And I think everybody I know that actually does sell them also leaves ones out as kindness rocks. So they're doing both. Everybody that I know anyway. And I know I don't know everybody, but okay, I'm taking number 2 and I'm adding one more dot to kind of make a point at the top of each of these. Some of them you can't see because it's kind of going off the side of the rock, but I'm just adding some little points. This does look like a snowflake. I have to remember that. Maybe we can make a snowflake with more snowflakey colors. Yeah, that's a good point, Tammy. Like, it can get expensive. Like, if you want all of the things, it can very quickly get expensive, and so selling them to make money for your supplies or to recoup your time or something like that is certainly understandable. Or people might want to make a living or, supplement their living, or, maybe they aren't able to work a traditional job. So there's that one. I'm debating. I think we will come back. I did bring the hologram glitter paint over here, so I think we will come back and add some glitter to these at the end, maybe. So let's do. I'm debating whether I want to do the same thing there or do these big red dots are still drying because they're angry. Try something different with this one. Let's try something different. So this also will give the blooming effect, but in a different way. So red dots were a number 2, so we're going to still take that number 2 and red paint into this green. And I'm going to add a dot. So you can do this 2 ways. You can add a dot square in the center of it, or you can add a dot kind of towards the bottom of the green dot. And I will lift this up so you guys can see it in a sec. And it'll become more apparent as we get into the bigger dots too. And this kind of makes it look sort of like, reminds me of like pansy petals or something. I'm gonna lose my spot again with these darn 2 colors. This might be the end of me for a Sunday afternoon. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna hold this up closer so you can see what I did. I kind of put the dots towards the bottom like they're blooming out. And so we're going to do the same thing with the number 4 and green on these red dots. And a lot of times, like, if I'm not sure that something is going to be, thanks, Terry, if it's going to fit, I'll take the dotting tool with no paint on it and just kind of measure and be like, oh, okay, that's how big the dot will be. Oh, those red dots are not dry yet. Not good. Smear. Okay, so now we have number 4 and the green. And you don't have to do this small either. I just start small. You don't have to start this small. So now we're at the number 4 in the green. I'm going to try not to stick my finger in any of these other big red dots, if I can help it. Harder than I thought. But same thing, like we're blooming outward in a straight line, and that's why it helps to turn the little turntable, because if you look at this, there's a straight line of red dots, right? And so we want to try and keep that angle going as it's going out towards the outer edges of the rock. Like so. I'm glad it's helpful. I feel like it's hard. This is helping, I think, having some feedback of what is challenging for you guys to give my little pointers, whatever they're worth, because I probably don't get that much when I do the videos. I try and just give you the gist of everything. So I'm glad that that is helpful. Now I'm moving up to number 6 and red paint to come off of these green dots and bloom them out. And you can still see how there could be room for even the dots in between, like we did with the black rock. But I think I might leave it alone and just let the blooming make people dizzy. See. I feel like my hand's shaking. Okay. So here's this, so you can see, just get a little idea of how it's starting to, this is definitely dizzying. I could see how this would be tricky. Hi, Jacqueline. Nice to have you. Man, everybody has not been feeling well. It's that time of year, though. I mean, isn't this what normally flu season? So I guess my hope for you is if you have to get sick, that you get normal sick, not COVID sick. You don't want that, right? Okay, so now I'm on number 8, green, going on the red dots. Blooming on out. And if you wanted to get really wild with this, you could come back and keep alternating the colors with smaller dotting tools. But that might make you nuts. I think that might make my eyes cross if I do that with just these 2 colors. Definitely not fun. I'm so bummed everybody's been getting sick. That's not fun. Not fun at all. Oh goodness, another MRI. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, you just make sure you take care of yourself and rest as much as possible and do what the doctors tell you and take care of yourself. Let's see, I am moving on to number 10 with red for green dots, because I think I'm talking myself through this because I need to remind myself as it goes on. Because this is dizzying, right? It's I never realized I haven't done one with just 2 colors in a while. So I can see why it would be a little bit hard to keep track of where you are. Whoop, I didn't have paint on there. Okay, so we got red and then number 10. So we'll do number 12 and green on this last round. Go. This rock definitely sits at an angle where it kind of pushes the face up. It's kind of nice if you're going to put it flat on the ground. Oh, I just had an idea. A crazy idea of what we could do in between. I did bring glitter paints over here. I don't know if I like my idea, so I'm keeping it to myself. Let's see. Okay. It's all kinds of dots. Let's see here. So you can see kind of how everything is blooming out. Dizzying. And I think I'm still going to do the similar, I guess, ending. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do it with red or green. I think I'm going to do it with red because out of the two colors, I like red better than green. And that way red will become the dominant color in the design. So we're going to do the same thing with number 6 and try and line them up better than I did on the last one. Now that I have the turntable, it's a little easier to do. I know I'm working kind of on the bottom of your guys' screen. Sorry about that. Oof. Coming off the side of the rock a little bit on the edges here, but that's okay. That's kind of a cool thing to do when you have really big round rocks too. Since purple is your favorite color, what am I painting on? Oh, it's actually it's a silicone, let me flip this side up. It's a silicone matte, and these are what I cure the resin on. I use this shiny side, and I don't put the shiny side up because you can see how it reflects the light for the live stream. So I flip it over and use the matte side just to give a nice solid color. So you guys have a backdrop of sorts. Oops. Okay, now I'm going to come with number 4. And we're going to start wrapping around our final edges of dots here. Oof, it's not a flat spot on the rock at all. There we go. And don't forget that the 12 Days of Rocksmith starts next Friday. So this is our last live stream before it starts. And it'll be 12 days of Christmas holiday themed rock painting designs for you. So 12 straight days. That is 3 times the amount of videos I normally put out in a month. So I am a little busy trying to get those out for you guys. But I think it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Pretty sure that they will all be set to release each day at 7 a.m. my time. So whatever that is for you, it'll be 7 a.m. my time is when they'll release. And then, so yeah, you'll have 12 days worth of videos. I decided to start it the day after Thanksgiving because I know some people started working on Christmas rocks after Halloween this year, or every year. That's kind of what happens. And I was looking back at what I did last year, and I only got like 4 designs out, maybe 3, because I was going with the timeline that I normally paint them. And so I thought this would be a fun way to kind of front load a bunch of content to you guys and get some ideas out there early enough that you still have time to do them for holiday hiding. So yeah, 12 straight days of videos. And then I might sleep for a week. Just kidding. It's not too much extra work. I shouldn't complain because it's mostly just the fact that I set up the camera and video what I would normally do anyway. I'd be doing it anyway. So I guess the only extra work involved is like the editing part, which is fun. I actually enjoy that. So I am okay with that. It's definitely a challenge to get 3 times the amount of content out to you guys, but hopefully it will be a good plan. I have no idea if I'll do it next year. We'll see how it goes this year and see how well received it was. Because people sure liked that silly, those funny Thanksgiving rocks, and I was not expecting that. Those were kind of a Hail Mary idea, and I was out of time and I didn't have time to do all the voiceovers, but people really liked that video. So you never know which ones are going to stick. Bye, Lindsay. Thank you so much for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you next week. We'll still be here for live next week, even though there'll be 12 days of Rocksmith going on. I will still do the live streams as long as we're not interfering with holidays or anything like that, or chores or have-tos, but we will be here. See what we can make. And we'll have lots of ideas on stuff to work on too. So that's always good. And I know things might slow down too with the holidays because people are busy doing their own thing, and that is totally okay. Bye, Jacqueline. Make sure you take care of yourself. Lindsay, you too. Everybody feel better if you have to take off. And we will see you the next time. Just about finished here. And I don't think I can add glitter paint to this one at least because it's still fairly wet. Whoops, not enough paint on there. I might have to do it after the fact and then show you the picture. I still haven't resined those cute little snowflake ones from last week, so I need to get that done. I have a whole batch and I keep waiting going, oh, I'll resin these all together. So there's kind of, so that's a really spaced out. You know, the dots are very spaced out, so there's room to add more if we wanted to. If you wanted to go in between like we did on the other one. My idea was to take maybe glitter paint and throw those in between. And I might still do that and see, because it would be kind of like not a full dot. But on this guy, I think I am going to add, so similar to how we did the blooming dots on that one, where it was at the bottom pushing towards the outside, I'm going to do that same thing with all of the larger dots and whoa, that's really sparkly. Hologram glitter paint. So this is Folk Art Extreme Hologram Glitter Paint. I use this a lot. It's a go-to because it's iridescent and clear. It picks up on any color combination. And I'm going to use the nail dotting tool. Well, maybe I shouldn't use such a big one to start. But I'm going to add it just kind of blooming out on the larger dots. So none of the in-between dots, just the larger dots that are blooming towards the outside. And this just adds a little bit of like sparkle to it when you get the resin or the sealer on. Just a little more eye-catchiness to it. But you can still see the colors. Whoa, big old piece of chunk. You can still see the colors through it because it's a clear kind of hologram paint. Why are there so many chunks in this? I might need new glitter paint. Starting to solidify on me a bit. Just, you know me, gotta have my glitter paint and sparkle. I just ordered something new that I can't wait to try out, and then I will share it with you guys once I try it out, but I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Sparkly. I like my sparklies. And I did get some of the Liquitex iridescent, I think that's what it's called, iridescent medium, that you can add to any color paint. So I'm planning to I haven't played with it yet, but planning to play with it and do videos so you guys can see how that stuff works, because I think that could be a game changer if it's good. Because then you wouldn't necessarily ever have to buy metallic paint. You just buy this iridescent medium and then decide what regular paint you want to add it to, and then bam, you've got iridescent paint. So pretty awesome. All right, last round, glitter dots. It's easier because they're bigger. Get this on here and head on out. Do more 12-day rocks and chores, and oh, I totally skipped a row. I think I'll make a cup of coffee while I'm at it. It's just not my day. I skipped that whole red row. That's okay, because we can go back and fix it very easily. Sometimes I hold these little Lazy Susans up and I turn them in my hand. They were just a really handy thing to have. I really, really like them. Let's see here. Okay, coming down to the last few dots. Okay. So this is our last live stream before Turkey Day, before 12 Days of Rocksmith. Hoping to have a tutorial out for you, or maybe it might be more of a just check out what I did, more so than an instructional tutorial. I have an idea, unless I get completely swamped. So, but we have lots coming up. Still will have live next week, even though the 12 Days of Rocksmith will have started, but that's okay. So keep an eye out for that, where you can set your reminders and not miss any of them. And I hope all of you guys that are feeling sick feel better. Drink lots of water. Take your vitamin C. Do what you need to do, but rest. Rest and drink water. Those are probably the most important. Feel better. Have a great week. Have a great holiday with your families. And I will see you next week. Everyone have a great week. Take care. I will talk to you later. Bye.